There is a 12-mile media ban in Maui. No journalists allowed. This again infringes on First Amendment rights. Why is the Maui Fire's media ban still in place? We can have reporters in literal war zones like Ukraine, but not in disaster areas like Lahaina. Totally normal and not sketchy at all, right? Let's deep dive into more of what's happened. Is all of this true? Fire hydrants were dry. Fire marshals were out of town that night. The mayor and the governor were out of town. People who were trying to evacuate were told it was not time to evacuate and to turn around back into the fire. No cops on bullhorns. No firefighters in the streets. Most robust emergency siren system in the world did not sound. No warnings whatsoever. Anomalies with reported wind directions that don't scientifically add up. Tourists evacuated by bus. Locals locked in and told that they can't get back in if they leave. School was canceled. Children were home while parents worked. Hundreds of children burned alive. Can't be identified. A perfect circle of fire around Lahaina. Molten metal next to intact trees. Media reporting fractions of real numbers. New insurance policies taken out on Lahaina before the fires. Who owns Lahaina besides the Hawaiians? The oceanfront property. The government. Wild how all this new uninhabitable land that only big developers can afford to clean up opened up for the plans of turning Maui into a smart island with billionaire funding. How many do you need? It goes on and on and on. Literally surrounded by water, Hawaiian official M. Kaleo Manuel refused to release water in Maui as the fire wreaked havoc and destruction. Manuel is the deputy director of the Department of Land and Natural Resources, as he explains that water should be revered but not used even in an emergency. Why were Maui police ordered to shut down the distribution of emergency supplies to the locals who were affected by Maui fires? Even the police were questioning the orders.
There are powers that be. I'm not sure of the reasoning. All I know is the order has come down to shut down the distribution of these placards. That's all I have for you.
It's absolutely mind-blowing that supplies for families in need are being turned away.
There is extreme corruption going on with the government here. They took 150 meals to be delivered for the people in need that are starving and don't have food or water. They were denied because they don't have a commercial kitchen license. And the boats that are trying to leave and give supplies to Lahaina and the people in need are having to bust through barricades to deliver supplies. So it seems like at every single turn, the government is doing everything that they can to make sure that the people here that need help do not get help. FEMA came and picked up a bunch of supplies and nobody knows where they went. I know in past FEMA situations, they found shipping containers full of supplies never given to those in need. So super sketchy.
Something is very wrong with all of this. I mean, all of it. There are endless videos of survivors, and the stories that they tell are absolutely wild.
It was a firestorm. I know, but there was tornadoes of ash the size of charcoal from a barbecue, like being thrown by baseball players. It was like nothing you've ever seen. This was bad that the people in their cars that were dead and from asphyxiation and the fire blew out the car, and you just saw the numbers of the dead are so wrong.
Hawaii's Democratic Governor Josh Green sent a message clearly indicating a land grab by saying that he is already actively thinking about ways for the state to acquire the land that was annihilated by the blaze. Just a reminder, on January 3rd of 2023, Maui announced plans to become one of the first American smart cities, or 15-minute cities. In order for a 15-minute city or smart city to be implemented, the unelected globalists must first control the land with no private ownership. Listen closely to what Green had to say.
I'm already thinking about ways for the state to acquire that land so that we can put it into workforce housing, to put it back into families.
Hawaiians in Lahaina are already getting offers for their now available land from developers. There are many, many coincidences surrounding the Maui fires, but let's take a look closer at this one.
Not that long ago, Hawaiian government officials in the areas that were just affected by the wildfires passed a law saying that that land could not be redistricted for new building permits unless some sort or some type of a serious natural disaster occurred. Serious natural disaster occurred. And what did we have happen through those 3 districts of very sacred land to the Hawaiians? A very serious natural disaster. I'm not going to get into space lasers and all of that, but people called their insurance companies after the fire, and the insurance companies for the first time informed them that there was zoning infractions on their land, so they would not honor their insurance policies. And within 24 hours of these people losing their homes, the same developers who the Hawaiian elders fought in court to have that law passed are already calling these people and making them offers for their homes. And they say to these people, hey, let us know when they call you to get their insurance claims, and let us know when you deny them, so we can then give them a call right away and scoop in and swoop in and be the heroes. So they're going to get this land that they're going to develop into millions of dollars worth of property, and the Hawaiian elders are going to get f*** all. They're going to get screwed over. And this happens everywhere. There's too many coincidences for this not to be shady. Wake up.
And there seems to be so many similar stories about the vultures swooping in on these victims.
Tell you guys, I am so frustrated with investors and realtors calling the families who lost their home, offering to buy their land. How dare you do that to our community right now? Shame on you. Shame on you.
Speaking of vultures, Hawaiian natives view Mark Zuckerberg as just that. Zuck owns 1,500 acres of land in Hawaii, and he wants more. In the past, Zuckerberg sued native Hawaiians for their own land. Zuck stole over 1,000 acres of land from the locals. There is history of Mark Zuckerberg and Bill Gates attempting to purchase all the islands. In fact, in Kauai, Mark Zuckerberg owns more land there than the government of Kauai itself. An article from The Hill explained, in 2017, hundreds of local Hawaiians who owned interest on small pieces of land within his estate were subject to lawsuits by Zuckerberg's lawyers. This is the face of neo-colonialism. It's the last nail in the coffin of separating us from the land. Mega wealthy people like Mark Zuckerberg have purchased so much land in Hawaii that native Hawaiians, they cannot own land on their native island. So who owns the most land in Hawaii and stands to benefit the most by this disaster? Larry Ellison, Oprah Winfrey, Mark Zuckerberg, Jeff Bezos. All of Hawaii will soon belong to the billionaires. One billionaire who is actually helping those in Hawaii is Elon Musk, who tweeted, "Tesla and SpaceX Starlink doing our best to be helpful to Hawaii." And by the way, did we ever hear back about those Chinese lasers beaming above Hawaii only 7 months ago?
Unusual sight captured on camera. Japanese and local astronomers say a Chinese satellite was recently seen beaming down green lasers over the islands.
The lasers flash for just a couple seconds. Initially thought to be from a NASA altimeter satellite, the Japanese put out a correction note on Monday saying NASA scientists found a most likely candidate as the ACDL instrument by the Chinese Daki-1 AEMS satellite.
What do you think is happening in Maui, Hawaii? Is this a land grab by elites like Mark Zuckerberg or Oprah Winfrey? Are the conspiracy theories turning out to be true? Was this a natural wildfire, or was it something much more sinister?
According to a World Economic Forum insider, who warns that Build Back Better literally means destroying things first and then rebuilding according to the New World Order plans. The World Economic Forum is using Maui as ground zero to launch a devastating attack on the people, which has laid the groundwork for the rapid reconstruction of the island into 15-minute cities, designed to lock down ordinary people in vast outdoor prisons from which there will be no escape. This evil plan has been in the works for years, and now we are seeing it play out in all its grisly details. The world's first smart island, and plans have been in the works for the last few years to start the rapid transformation from the island's traditional way of life to Klaus Schwab's 2030 vision. But there was just one problem. The historical districts in Hawaii, which happen to be where the most desirable and expensive properties are located, are owned by locals who did not want to sell. And because they were historical towns, they couldn't have any new development. Mainly destroyed by the so-called wildfires were prime real estate owned by ordinary everyday people, located right next to lavish mega mansions, owned by the likes of Jeff Bezos, Lady Gaga, Bill Gates and Hollywood stars like Will Smith and Julia Roberts. WEF partners McDonald's, Burger King and other big box stores were also mysteriously unaffected. How did the fire know to avoid the most expensive mansions and big box retailers? The fire also knew how to burn in the perfect oval shape in Lahaina, avoiding key locations. Take a look at this footage captured from a commercial flight. Maui locals have observed that the wildfires, which were burning simultaneously in numerous strategic locations, did not behave in a natural way. How is this possible? Others explained that they were winning the fight against the fires until the water was suddenly and inexplicably turned off.
Russ, who lived in his home for 40 years, said he and neighbors fought all day to keep the fire from spreading.
We had a hard time holding it back, but we were winning the game. And then the water turned off. And then there wasn't anything we could do.
Directed energy weapons were used to attack the local people, destroy their property, and force them to accept the agenda of the globalist elite. Videos filmed by locals in Lahaina showed the pulse flashes, which are a feature of directed energy weapons, and they're circulating online. And if you're wondering what a clear directed energy weapon strike looks like from a distance, here is a video from Chile in May this year, showing a confirmed strike. And according to eyewitness accounts from Maui, we are dealing with the same technology.
Hey y'all, Myra here. So take a look at this crazy video. This just happened today, May 26th in Chile. So quick backstory, a man was in his apartment and he heard 5 explosions and then his electricity went out. He ran to his balcony to see what was going on or to see if he could see anything, and he happened to catch the 6th explosion. It looks like a laser beam, y'all. A laser beam. Is this some sort of super advanced technology we have no idea about? Is it some sort of government testing? It looks so futuristic. I'm mind blown a little bit.
The mainstream media are desperate to dismiss these claims as conspiracy theories, but we now know for a fact that directed energy weapons are not conspiracy theories at all. They are conspiracy facts.
The Department of Defense spends about $1 billion annually developing directed energy weapons, such as high-energy lasers and high-powered microwaves. These weapons can disrupt or destroy their targets at the speed of light. For example, DoD has developed high-energy lasers that have successfully shot down drones. But speed isn't their only advantage. They're also less expensive per use than traditional weapons like guns and missiles. Despite those potential advantages, DoD has had trouble getting these technologies out of the lab and into service. The Army has developed a detailed transition plan to support moving these weapons into the next stages of development. We recommended that the Navy and the Air Force develop similar plans.
Now, the land grab begins. And the global elite, led by WEF partners BlackRock and Vanguard, are leading the charge to acquire the land and begin building 15-minute cities. Klaus Schwab wasn't joking when he said that Hawaii was going to lead the United States into his vision of the future. The Hawaiian political elite are completely bought and paid for by international interests. Here is your evidence that the UN and WEF are in deep with the Hawaii governor, guiding him on what to do in order to achieve their Agenda 2030 and global reset agendas. Governor Green represented Hawaii at 2 key events at the 2023 United Nations High-Level Political Forum, the only US state leader to do so.
Governor Josh Green touted Hawaii's sustainability accomplishments at the United Nations Economic and Social Council in New York City. The governor was the keynote speaker in the forum that included more than 40 presenters from around the world. Green pointed out that Hawaii is in a unique position as an island state and has tried to lead the way in promoting renewable energy.
Remember when the World Economic Forum aligned politicians all over the world were parroting the same line, Build Back Better? Now we know that Build Back Better literally means destroying things first and then rebuilding according to the New World Order plans.
It's a very pertinent question to ask, how do we build back better?
We have a chance to reset the clock
and build back better than before.
To build back better than before.
Remember the terrible damage of COVID as we try to build back from this global pandemic.
Joe Biden calls it build back better.
Building back better.
To do things differently. To build back better.
We're going to build it back better.
And build it back better.
It's my plan to build back better.
Start taking all the problems that have been created in education and mental health and start to build back in a positive way.
It's about building this country back better.
Unprecedented opportunity to rethink and reset the ways in which we live.
The great opportunity for reset.
The theory even calls Mr. Biden's campaign slogan, Build Back Better, a front for the conspiracy.
Build back better.
Building back better our economy.
Build back better.
All elements of the Great Reset are fundamental to building the future we need.
This pandemic has provided an opportunity for a reset.
It's a big effort to, some would say, to build back better. We would say to really have a great reset.
Conspiracy.
Here at the People's Voice, we are determined to hold these globalist criminals accountable for their actions. But we need your help. Spread this video far and wide to help educate as many people as possible to what's going on in the world today.